What's going on, YouTube? So it's early morning and trying to get work done. Today the project is, well, I started yesterday, but I kind of had to get it started because I had to do some epoxying. But today we're going to put the bilge pump in the SX-R 1500 as a 2020. I mean, they come in different colors, but same thing. So the SX-R stand up 1500. Yesterday, I'm going to show you here in a second, I epoxied in the base for the bilge pump, which there's not a lot of room down there, and unfortunately the bilge pump I got was a little big, but I wanted the features that it had automatic, wasn't ridiculously overpriced, and it was a 750 gallon per hour pump, and I get a lot of water in there when I'm doing pirouettes and doing, you know, submarines and stuff. So I've already got the air box out, and I'll go over how to take that out. I apologize because I really wanted to video the whole thing, but I got back semi late yesterday and just didn't really have time to get the camera out before dark. So that's why we're out here early before the sun comes out and it gets up to 100. So let's get this started. I'm gonna do clips. Normally I do a whole entire scene and, you know, a little time lapse, but I'm gonna be doing clips and explaining what I did and how I did it and what parts I picked. So, be right back. Okay, alright, just got the cover off and the top off. So, see, I took the air box out. I'm going to go over, it's really simple to take the air box out. There's either two screws right here on the bracket, or you can pop this screw and take this screw out, and you unscrew the hose clamp that goes onto the intake. And I did it in two places, and then it just folds up. I take this breather 2x2, then it just folds up and comes out. It's not super easy, but right here, this is where I found room. I kind of cut a little bit of this, it's like almost epoxy. It's kind of weird. Some places are soft, but then it holds down your siphon. And I fit the bilge pump in here so I could clear the flywheel, which is right under this little plastic. And I'm should be able to get in there, clip down, have clearance. I'm gonna run it with this. I'm gonna run it with this line right here that runs to the front, which should be the intake coolant line. I can remember right, because the siphon's right here. You got this line that cools the exhaust. So this has got to be a coolant line for the motor. Yep. It's for something. Runs the exhaust as well. This line that runs in here, I'm going to hook the bilge, I'm going to tie the bilge pump hose to this. I'm going to run it under the intake, and then it's going to curve up, come up through here, curve, and I'm going to put a through hull fitting right here. So let's see if I can get, so it'll be right here, through hull fitting. So just back from the intake. Alright, I'm going to get the bilge pump in there. We'll see how it actually did when I glued it in there. Didn't have a lot of clearance from the drive shaft, but I had some, so we should be good to go. Alright, YouTube, we are going to install our through hole fitting. It's 3/4 inch with a 1 inch thread. What we're going to do is we're going to drill a little pilot hole right here, and then we're going to take and draw our hole saw bit straight through. Just pop out about here. And, probably had the fitting facing up because I do want to have a loop with the bilge tube, and then have it loop back down on top so it prevents suction, because it'll be above the water line, which is usually literally like right here where that's full. So I'm going to get to that and we'll be right back. Alright, so we now have the hole drilled. So what we did, drill a small pilot hole like a 1/8 maybe. Nah, not a 1/4 inch, 1/8 or inch drill bit. Then I used a 1 1/8 hole saw and drilled the hole. See it pop through the other side. Alright, now let's get this fitting installed. Alright, so we got it installed. I'd recommend trying maybe a 1 inch instead of 1 1/8 for the hole. The hole was a little bit bigger than I anticipated, but I mean, it seals up just fine. And I got it over in here. I got it facing up because I'm going to run the tube up, over, and in to prevent siphon. And here, we'll be right back. Alright, so we had our fitting installed. I just clipped the bilge pump into the bracket. It's perfect. It's got about a finger clearance. I'm going to run this wiring to here, zip tie it to here. Well, I might go from here, yeah, probably from here to here, and then to here, just to get it up to this wiring harness. Run it all the way across, and then down to the battery. And then I'm gonna have a switch right up here on the handlebars, and I'll just feed the wire through. I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna solder it. But the pump fits. I just plug this on just to make sure it's gonna clear the flywheel. And we'll get this tube run. We'll hit the tube run and clamp her down, and we'll go from there. That's what we'll do right now, and then we'll get to the electrical. Alright, we're back. We obviously have the hose clamp there. We got zip ties here. This line's running right up that intake line. I got it zip tied. I don't know if you can see it down in there. We got a loop here just to prevent siphon, which hopefully it's lower than the water line. And it loops. There we go. There, you can see better than I can. It loops up and then goes into the fitting. So we've got that mounted. We've got it sealed. Use some marine gasket sealer. And also here, show this side, which I can't see, so I'm open up showing you the thing. So we got right here. The sealant, I cleaned it up so it's not all nasty looking. Alright, now the next thing we'll tackle is the electrical, and we'll get right on that right now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to zip tie it down here to this hose, and then to here, and then come up. I don't know if I'm going to come up on the other side. There's a wire hanging down, but end up getting it to this harness, run along the top. I could run it down on this wire, like down here. I don't know. We'll figure that out and I'll let you know what I did. Alright. Quick video update on the wiring. Alright, I ran a thicker wire through, and I got it all the way down and through. I was trying to run it in this sleeve right here with the on start and stop, but I could not get it to get past here. You got a little grommet here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's real pain. This is why I ran through. Take the zip tie off there. But I did get it run through. I had to take off this plate, which is right here. So it's got 3 screws, and to get into here. But so now I'm going to use this and pull all 3 of the wires that I'm going to use. I'm going to use black, yellow, red. And then I'm going to call it quits for the day and come back tomorrow or this evening because it's getting hot out here and buggy. Alright, I'll catch you when I get these pulled through. Okay, so I have the wire run. It's run down, up through this tube. I've started to put this grommet back together. You can see the wires up here, colored wires that are coming out here. I've got the switch. It's going to go on the bottom. It'll mount right up to here, and I'll be able to turn it on auto, whichever mode I want. And I'm just going to have to splice these bad boys. So we got the wire run. We're going to take a break till this evening, and then we're going to do some soldering. And I'm going to have to order a fuse because I do want a fuse on the hot side just in case I just don't want to have it directly connected in case something gets undone. It'll not short circuit everything or burn a wire up. Should be pretty bad. So didn't run the way I wanted it to. I was trying to run it into this tube right here, but I just couldn't get it through. Even with this black wire, I don't know, it's getting hung up somewhere right about here. So, but I got it in there now. I'm gonna actually move this up. I'm gonna put the zip tie back on there, and then I'm gonna close this thing up and come back out here and battle the soldering later on when the sun's not out and it's 100 degrees out here, because it's already 93 right now. So I'll catch you in a little bit. All right, YouTube, we're back. We're starting to, we've run the wire. We did that last time. I trimmed it off down here. We're gonna end up terminating it to the pump just down there, but I've actually got the switch here. I'm not super impressed with it. I'm gonna end up probably epoxying this or something. It's supposed to be watertight, but I don't know, I'm not too impressed with that. But I did a continuity test on this switch. The red is the common across, so it's the hot wire, and these two are, blue is number 1 and black is number 2. So I soldered, I put some heat shrink. I'm actually going to do some electrical tape just across them as well, just for to help seal it more. And then I'm going to get this stuff situated. I'm going to mount it, mount this to the handlebar, and I'm going to mount it underneath. We'll see that in a second. But so we've already started the soldering, well, at least this is the first step. It is about 100, so it's hot as crap out here. So doing this in small steps. Probably going to take long breaks inside in the AC, and yeah, we'll keep trucking away. Next thing will be to get this switch mounted, electrical tape these just to seal them up more, and then probably, depending on where the wire, I may end up epoxying this sooner than later. I don't really like what moves around like that. Probably use some of that silicone that I used for the whole through fitting. So all right, we'll catch you back in a minute once we've got this all situated and tied back up into the handlebar section. All right, we're back. I got the switch installed up here, and we got the wiring. Had a little bit too much extra, so I put it up here, and it'll get covered up by the plastic cover that goes here, and so it's free to move. Also put some silicone there so seal that back up, and now we'll put the cover back on, and we'll start dealing with the main wires we need to deal with. All right, so we're starting to manage. These were the 3 wires. I pulled the red one out because the red one's actually going to terminate down here at the battery. I got this plastic sleeving, so the 2 alternates for the 3-way switch that's on the handlebar are right here. And they're actually these 2, one going to the 2 brown wires, and then this black wire, which I will have to extend, is going to have to run all the way up to the negative on the battery. And when I get the fuse, I'll end up soldering it into this hot lead. So there's going to be a 6-amp fuse per requested on the pump, just for safety in case something shorts. So currently the next thing is going to be to terminate this hot, and I am going to, well, actually I think I'm going to terminate, I'm going to do this black wire extension first so I can run it through the sleeving. And I'm going to run the sleeving underneath the intake, and it'll come out back down in here. So it'll probably stop about, well, it's going to go all the way to here. This wires are going to get zip tied to here and then zip tied to here, depending on how far I can move this corrugated back. If I can move this corrugated protection back all the way to the back, we'll do it. If I can't, I can't. But the first thing is going to be to put an extension of black wire on this black right here. and then the next will be to terminate this hot. And then from there we'll end up terminating the 2 browns. But first thing we'll get working on is this black extension to get it all the way up to the negative on the battery. Be right back. Just a quick update. So the negative coming from the pump, I've soldered a black wire onto to extend it because it's got to go to negative. Then I've started zip tying the sleeve down. I'm actually just going to run it along. This is the tube for the bilge pump. I'm just going to run it right along that, and then this water intake tube. It's going to zip tie it underneath the air intake, and all the way to here is where I'm going to stop with it. I'll peel this back, trim what I need to trim, and solder in the brown. I ran the red through so that I can pull this black through it, so I can get it in this corrugated shielding underneath the air intake. So I'm going to end up pulling that red out right here, which you'll see here probably the next clip. Have it pulled out here, and I'll just have it flopped up here. And I'll also have that black pulled out through here and flopped up here. I'm going to put a terminator on it so I can, you know, put it on the battery terminals. All right, let's flash forward, and you'll see what we've accomplished. All right, so what we've done is we soldered the brown. We soldered the other brown. Where is it? It should be right there. Yeah, we started zip tying the shield. I'm gonna probably trim the shield off here. And I'm gonna pull these wires in, get them zip tied down. I did see a problem with the way I did it. So the way I did it, if the water does come up pretty high, you're gonna get water in this tube, which is not great. But with the wire and the shielding, it's not really gonna matter too much. Plus I'll have a fuse on it just in case. For future, if someone wants to know, I think I would take this wire, tether it to this siphon, run it up to here, get it over here, and then run along the top, and then, you know, down into your connections. That's what I would do. So I'm gonna clean up this mess of wires and zip tie them out of the way. I'll give you a shot of that when I get done that. Then I've got positive here that needs to be terminated, and I've got the negative here from the pump that needs to be terminated, with ends to, you know, add them to the battery. So I will clean that up, and then I will solder these up, and I will get back to you guys. Alright, so I've got these terminated now. I'm gonna throw some electrical tape on them, seal them up. I don't know if I'm going to use any hot glue or not. I haven't decided that. Put those on the battery, and then I've already showed you this. I do have this buttoned up. Not pretty. Not super stoked about it, but it's what it is. And this next shot, you'll see if you can hear it running. But everything's buttoned up. I'm going to have to put the airbox in once I test it. I'm also going to test there's a float valve in this one. Flip this little lever, and it pops up. It should activate with the automatic setting, and be right back. Alright, YouTube, we're going to do the test. Got this wired in, not exactly the way I'd recommend doing it. I'd recommend somehow running it up and running the wire across the injectors, so your solder points are more out of the water. I mean, it should be out of the water for the most part since that bilge pump is in there. But I would definitely run the wire a little different. Lesson learned. And I've got the terminals connected. So I got the one black wire there, got the red wire over there. So let's see if this actually works. So up here, I'm gonna flip it to 1, and I don't hear anything. So let's see if 1's automatic. Let's flip this back here. Yep, all right. She works. And then we go up here, back to 0, and she's on again. So she works. this is it completed. I got all my hose clamps back on. Got these bolts back in. I don't know if that was the easiest. You could remove these and have the bracket hanging in there, but maybe that'd make it more difficult pulling it out. I don't know. But like I said, I got it in there. Plenty of room. Maybe I can get this down in there. Plenty of room for in there for the bilge pump. Alright, and we'll do one more test. And we'll hit the 1. So that's auto, so no noise. 2, there's noise. It's on. Number 2. There we go. All done. Thanks for watching, and have a good day. I'm going to go inside. It's 105 out still. Have a good one. I'm out.